I did have on my bucket list, and I found it a while ago, that my life list was to learn to play the harmonica. I joined Tomlin's Harmonica School, a guy in Edinburgh. It's one of the biggest schools in the UK, and I've since joined Liam Ward's school, another big school in the UK. I've got this massive restless curiosity for it. I tell people that's what they've got to have, I think, to play harmonica.
Hello and welcome to Season 1, Episode 14 of the Blues Jam podcast. This week I've had the pleasure of speaking with Lisa Presland, who's right at the start of her Blues Jam journey. We talked about what got her started playing the harmonica, how she learnt how to play it, what got her to make the decision to go to a Blues Jam, and what it's like being a lady in the blues scene. As always, please stay tuned to the end of the show, where you can hear notices of blues jams that are coming up and down the country over the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy. Cheers. May you please introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Lisa Presland, alternatively known as Rocket Girl, or Rocket Girl Lisa in harmonica world, but we can talk about that later. I'm 57, retired. What else do you need to know?
Well, and that your main thing is playing the harmonica.
Absolutely. I've fallen in love with it. I've been playing for 3-4 years. Yeah, I'm in my 4th year now. I started in May 2020, and I've just fallen in love with it completely. It was COVID times, so I started back then. But the story goes back further, really, because I was trying to think about this for today, that my very first single that I bought when I was just 13 was by the Specials.
Right.
I don't know whether you go back that far.
Yeah.
The first song was Message to You, Rudy, and at the very, very beginning of that song there's a little intro on harmonica.
Right.
Play it when you get home. And I wondered then what that sound was, and I loved that sound. And someone eventually told me when I was grown up that it was harmonica, when I was still playing it a lot. But that really was my very first memory of that sound.
Right.
I say that sound because I love it so much, and it was the first single I happened to buy, so there's kind of some weird connection.
So your inspiration goes back all the way to sort of teenagehood.
Yeah, now I know it's not blues, it's ska music, and my first real love was ska music. I was totally rude girl, you know, Harrington jackets, black and white clothes, all that stuff. I love Madness and the Specials and all that. That was my first thing. So I know it's not blues, but I came through that sort of age range of 13 onwards loving that music, and then that turned to loving funk and reggae and all that sort of genre, really. And I think it came out of that.
As it was talked about yesterday with Erin, the one that came out yesterday with Erin, there is an argument that says a lot of music, if not maybe all music, can be traced back to in some way or another for the blues.
Yeah, I can hear it, so I totally agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. And reggae and ska are very heavily linked as well. I mean, I'm a massive Bob Marley fan, and I thought I'd listen to everything Bob Marley had to give, and then I found out when he first started as a teenager, he was playing ska music, and it was just slowing down that beat that turned it into reggae. So, you know, I'm kind of his #1 fan. If there's any music I could just listen to one person forever, it would probably be Bob Marley.
And is
that weird?
Is that the inspiration for the name of the
Marley?
cat?
Yeah, Marley's
the cat that I've met already, but I don't know where he's gone. He's disappeared.
Yeah. But that's how I think I came up. That's my first memory, and then really nothing until getting into live music. I watched a lot of bands in Cardiff. Some had harmonica.
Right.
And my husband as well. He's, as you've met him today. He's into all sorts of music, a real eclectic taste. So with him, I've listened to loads of Bob Dylan, Springsteen, Neil Young, all sorts with their harmonicas, you know. So that was making me hear it again and again and again. And I am a bit of I come from a project management background in large-scale projects for banks. That was my career. Right. And so we're kind of geeky, and I keep lists, and I did have on my bucket list, and I found it a while ago, that my life list was to learn to play the harmonica. There are 101 weird and wonderful things on that list, half of which I've gone through and done now, but learning to play harmonica was on there. So again, it's going back a long way, and it never came to anything at that time because I was in my career, but I think the seed was planted as a young teenager and then like again as an adult.
And it sounds, I can imagine, and if you're willing to say more about this, and please do, the crossover between something like project management and learning. Was it, I mean, is the harmonica the first musical instrument you learned to play?
Well, I learned violin in school
right, okay.
and recorder, but I was quite good at violin actually, but it wasn't a passion, it was just going through school, picking up an instrument. You didn't really have a great choice.
I'm mildly surprised that you didn't move from violin to guitar.
Yeah.
That, you know, fingers on strings.
There's just something about that sound from the harmonica
nice,
that just throughout my life, I think, peppered through it, there's just been, it's going on my life list, I've got to, I keep hearing that sound, and eventually, age 45, my husband bought me a harmonica for my birthday.
Right.
And I still didn't learn it then, so, you know, all you youngsters out there, I think, please don't waste precious years, get on with it, because I wish I had. I was kind of right at the top of my career game then, and it was a precious instrument to me because he bought it for me, and it was a Hohner a Hohner Special 20 in C, so it was a good one. Nice. It wasn't a toy that he bought me, but I did keep it in my bedside drawer for the next 8 years. Right. Which I'm really ashamed about, and I hardly have any regrets in life, and I've done some crazy things, but I do regret leaving it there. And I was at the top of this sort of career thing and didn't really have time, but the reason it was in my bedside drawer was it was a precious item. I had a few items there, but if there was a fire in my house I was going to grab these things, and it was in that pile of things, so it was important to me. But all the time it's just on this list, big bucket list of things I will do when I have time. I will learn harmonica, and then COVID came.
Right. So all of a sudden you found you had the time to do it.
You must know lots of people like that. I've certainly met people now that say, I started in COVID times. It seems to be that lockdown thing when we could all get on with some passion or something that we could do at home.
There's some people like that. The more thing that I can relate to is people who have come back to or started music for the first time in later life and have a massive load of regret about not doing it. So like you just said, you know, if you're young and you're watching this, or younger and you're watching this, don't think I'll do that tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There's today.
Yeah. Because really, even if I picked it up then when I was working, I could have just like in the evening, I don't know, started working on a 2-drawer note or something. Even if I hadn't achieved much by the time I was in my 50s, it would have been a start. So I kind of wish I had. But to your point about regrets, it's another thing that's made me get on with it really, is my dad's now in his 80s, and he's had a stroke recently. His health is, you know, getting a lot worse, but they're doing okay. But he's always said he really, really regrets not learning to play an instrument. Right. I think once he started to play guitar when he was middle-aged, and he went to sort of the wrong school. He went to like Spanish guitar, classical guitar, and he really wanted like blues and country. Yeah. And it kind of went a bit wrong, and he just never pursued it. And he's always pointed out to me how much he regrets that. And so I think, wow, Dad, I've got to get on with it. I've got to do it for you. So there was another driver there in that. Yeah. That it's a really critical point, which I think is really underplayed. The idea of, God damn it, if I'd, you know, I had guitar lessons as a teenager, and I sort of sometimes I had guitars around, sometimes I didn't. And funnily enough, although I was working through lockdown because of the work that I was doing, so it didn't really change much for me. I did have some changes in my circumstances that then meant that I had a little bit more time, and I had always been put off trying to learn music theory, and I thought, well, I'm just going to have to do this whether I like it or not. Yeah. And found, weirdly, it wasn't as complicated as I thought, and weirdly is as complicated as I thought. Some bits of it, so I really regret not taking it more seriously as a teenager and not going, okay, let's really learn what I'm doing here and how I'm doing it, as opposed to just learning Metallica riffs and going, oh, that means I can play the guitar. It kind of does and it kind of doesn't. Yeah. We've covered this 1,000 times. I've not done music theory a lot yet, so and I'm feeling the same. You know, is this something I really need to get into? So maybe offline we can have a chat about that, because I know I need to conquer that eventually.
No, we're having that chat right now. Because I heard you play last Wednesday.
Yeah,
so
we
not
only met
yesterday,
last Wednesday, so I'll always remember you for being there at my first jam, and we got to play, didn't we?
Yes, yes.
The second time I got up, it was with your little crowd.
Well, it's certainly not my crowd.
People keep asking me if they were a band, and I thought, well, no, I think it was just a collective of people who are in bands that got up, and then I could get up with you.
Yeah, some of them are in bands, but not those bands they formed that night.
Oh,
in
okay,
other
yeah,
bands.
I see.
It was a true jam in terms of like. So it was based on the Wooten jam format. So Wooten has a sheet of paper, and then it's split into the instruments and then the songs down one side. So you make your choice as to what song you want to play on and which instrument you're going to play. And normally with those jams, there's an excessive amount of guitarists that turn up. One or two drummers that are just there all night, and like one bass player going, "Thanks everyone, yeah, I'll be up here all night," then will I? And thankfully there's a growing amount of harmonica players coming.
Yeah, good. I saw a few.
Yeah, especially, yes. I mean, I'd never seen Liam play before.
Oh, right, okay.
I know Sarah, who you know.
Yes.
And we started talking, and you were all full of, I mean, for you to tell such lies was despicable, that you'd never played live before, that she actually hasn't. But, and that certainly was not noticeable when you got up and played. That first time was like, well, if you haven't played live before, where have you been and what have you been doing? Because this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes, and that's why you wanted to understand the story.
Definitely.
So I think it's heavily related to COVID times and the lockdown, and I started that way. I'd come out of a contract. So after my career, I worked for myself for a few years, just jobbing for other banks, and I came out of a contract just as COVID hit, and I actually thought, well, I'm not going to go back to work during this time. Kind of a bit scared, thought, shall I just stay at home and give it all up? And harmonica was something to get on with, so bucket list item, let's get on with it. Got it out of the bedside drawer and cracked on with it. That was in about May. And the other reason was I had COVID really early on. I worked with people who'd come back from that Italian place that was struck with COVID.
Right, okay.
And I was really ill, like really massively ill for 8 weeks, and my lungs felt really damaged. So harmonica as well, I thought, when I got my strength back a little bit in May, I just thought I'm going to start playing because I thought it might help.
To sort of build them back up again.
Yeah, since I've really heard that it does help. It really helps breathing, diaphragmatic stuff, all of it, it really helps. So that was another reason for starting there. But I can say, to your answer about jams and why I only had just got there in year 4, I just got used to playing over there in the dining room. That's my little spot. My amps are over there now, and I just I joined Tomlin's Harmonica School, a guy in Edinburgh. It's one of the biggest schools in the UK, and I've since joined Liam Ward's school, another big school in the UK, and their material is all online. It's set out month by month, week by week, a beginner's 12-month course, videos, backing tracks, etc., lots of lessons. And I just found, I think because I come out of the workplace as well, I found that sort of theory quite refreshing, the way it was set out. Their schools are excellently set out for like just that meticulous way of learning, and it being set out in structures and bite-sized chunks to get on with. It really helped.
I wondered if that would appeal to you coming from a project management point of view.
Definitely. I really loved it. I was on my way as soon as I was printing out month 1, week 1, to separating all. And at the end of the month, you could submit to the teacher a tune that you learned. So you'd learned a technique, obviously back in beginner days, is just to play a clean 2-draw, drawing on the harmonica cleanly. But we learnt a tune, and then I'd submit that tune to them and get told to proceed to the next month's level. It was very much like that, so very orderly. It kind of worked for me completely, and I enjoyed making those videos then to submit to the school, and that got me into something of social media, I think, where
Because you were making the videos of yourself playing, right?
Yeah, I had to do that for Tom Lynn. That's the way it works, you know, and it's great, you know, to get someone like Tom Lynn feeding back on your videos. It's just like amazing, telling you what you're doing right, where you need to develop, whether you can go on to the next level or not. But I just got into such a habit of that. It's quite a solitary thing, but I enjoyed it so much, and I thought I'd put these on Facebook. I think somebody reminded me at some stage that if I lost my videos, I'd be, you know, I'd regret it. I'd be sorry if I lost my phone or something.
Yeah.
So I started putting them on the Facebook groups for harmonica beginners.
Okay.
And people were just really nice, really welcoming. You know, I was learning about blues, so people were telling me what sort of blues tunes harmonica players could have a go at, and Tom Lynn was showing us blues music. It's a blues school.
Right, okay.
It's lucky for me. So
I
just fell in love with it all, and it's just was an amazing early start to the journey that with these videos, it sounds a weird way to learn, but it became really important to do a test for the teacher and to show it to my peers online.
Right.
And you know, there's a lot of really skilled, talented old guys mostly that have been playing, lots from America and, you know, all over Europe, been playing for decades, and they would come in and say, oh, at least your breathing could be a bit this, you know, you can do a bit that, but it's really good. You know, I can remember Joe Falisco once commented, he's a brilliant player in America, to make sure my neck was straight, not to be leaning when I was playing.
Right.
And these tips were just so valuable, the people were so encouraging. I just loved it.
And I don't think the learning online thing is such a weird thing anymore. I think that's such a regular thing that goes on.
Good.
You know, like, yeah, of course. You know, we're living in this modern era of the internet and the use of the internet.
Yeah.
Crikey, you know, like I'm a nobody and I can do these interviews and put them out there to the world to see.
Yeah. I felt the same about harmonica, that little old me was having a go, and people were saying, yeah, good on you, you know, can't wait for the next one, and this, and that's developed into quite a thing that I do enjoy. So even now where I've got the capability to tab a blues tune, I really love Snooky Pryor. I just recently tabbed one of his songs out by ear, and then I can learn it, and I love that process as well. I love just playing it 1,000 times, listening over and over, slowing it down, writing out the tabs myself, and then I play it to people.
Right, so is there a tab in, because I know there's a tablet showing guitar, there's one in harmonica as well.
Yeah, it's all weird arrows and numbers depending whether you're drawing the note in or blowing the note out, up arrow, whatever the whole number is, the bend notes, bent arrows, it's all.
Right.
Usually with Tom Lynn, he puts music behind it as well, so I could learn a little bit of the music. So when you see a triplet, you know, you can see it's close together.
Right.
Da, 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 da. You know, I needed to see that in the musical notes, but overall we rely on tabs. You don't have to know musical notes.
You don't have to be able to read music.
It's the same in guitar, is it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So in guitar tab, unlike music, where you've got 5 lines, you've got 6 lines that are the 6 lines of the strings.
Oh wow, okay.
They represent the 6 strings. And then the numbers are the number of the fret to play. So you don't have to have any musical experience at all, you just need to be able to read numbers and understand the string on the bottom is the top string as you're looking down on a guitar.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah. So very easy to read.
I think I might have seen that on YouTube actually when I'm looking at backing tracks. I think sometimes those videos show a lot of dots on strings and things like that. So
yes.
Maybe.
Are you left-handed?
Yes.
Right. Does that make a difference when you're playing the harmonica?
I think so, because initially I wanted to pick it up in my right hand.
Right.
And I was taught, you know, try your best at first to play in your left hand. But it's
because the way you imitated a guitar then
I did
was
it wrong,
left-handed.
did I?
No, not wrong. No. You know, Hendrix was left-handed. You know, loads of people are left. Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath is left-handed. They all play that way around.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
I think with guitar I definitely would be.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay.
But I've been trained to get it right with harmonica. I think there are some people who play left-handed.
I never thought about the idea. There's a way to like.
I found it hard when I was learning to do like a wah sound, and this hand doesn't really do very well. So learning to do the wah sound. You know,
did you naturally want to do it with this hand?
It was all really, and holding the microphone's a bit weird as well. But I've got around it, and I'm glad I have, because I think it could be complicated. Some people have turned their harmonicas upside down to play it in that hand, and then I just think it might take longer. So
because then you'd have to read the tab the other way around. Surely,
But there's been sort of this 2 years of playing at home, playing to my cats. I did, as I said, 4 cats, and I've got plenty of videos I put on when my cats are on the table or disturbing me, or they jump on me as I'm playing a song. But they've been my audience, and my husband, who's been great.
Right.
Puts up with a lot of it. Only once did he put up a sign. I don't know whether you've seen Wayne's World, where they say no stairway to heaven.
Yes.
Most of us have got guitar players.
Yeah.
But he put up an exact sign, but he said no high notes. So, because it is quite painful for people who aren't harmonica players to hear learners going up to the high end.
Hit the high end.
Yeah. So my cats didn't like either. One of my cats still bites me if I go like hole 7 to 10. He just goes mad because it just sounds squeaky. So
that's a guitar shop joke.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't realise
because
that.
so many people would go into guitar shops and play Stairway.
I kind of thought it must be.
They started putting up signs saying no.
Okay, so Wayne's World didn't invent it. But I love that part of that film. It's brilliant. But yeah, my husband doesn't like the high notes much, but he obviously puts up with all of it. He's a complete supporter. But I just think
he was there at the jam, and he was very supportive.
I just can't emphasise how those first years, I don't know, they kind of, it's led me to have a fear of playing to anybody.
Right.
Honestly, to absolutely anybody. Which is crazy, because in my big corporate life, I was presenting to thousands of people on a stage about IT projects and stuff like that. But I don't know what it was, whether I let it go too far before I got involved with playing to people.
No, I think there's a balance point between like knowing what you're doing, and so knowing that if I do get up in front of people, it's all right. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do this. I know that I'm not going to make a fool of myself, and jumping in too early.
Yeah.
Because you might have, like it took me a little while to decide. Okay, now I know roughly if somebody says we're playing in C, okay, great, I know roughly where that is and what I'm going to, and some licks or some things I could do. Okay, cool, let's go take this to the next level of turning up to a jam then. If I'd gone too early, it just would have sounded awful, and I might well have been put off going back.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfectly fine to be realistic about now I have enough chops to go and do something.
Yeah.
And I think there's a fine point also in going, now I have enough chops to take this out of the bedroom or the living room.
Yeah, okay.
And to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's scary. It is scary, and it should be scary. You should be scared. You should be scared of going there. Because it's supposed to be a progression level. It's supposed to be everyone turns to you, or the singer turns to you and goes,
which they did. Yeah.
Oh, am I really okay then? Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it gets interesting.
Yeah, but I just was even too nervous to play in front of 1 or 2 people. So, for instance, like you've just been out there with me to the estuary edge, I would often go and sit out there with my back to anybody, just playing like on the edge of the estuary there.
Which weirdly means you're playing actually to the whole of Wales.
Yeah,
but
playing to the whole of Wales. Yeah, exactly. But I would then know people would walk past, but I didn't have to be facing them. So that was my first breaking the ice, and somebody would clap or say well done and be encouraging. But that was my first thing. I could just sit there and not look. And then once I was playing in a car park of a supermarket, just while I was waiting in the car, and somebody went like that because they could hear me through the car window. So it was even little things like that I was nervous of. I don't know, it felt like quite a personal thing. It'd been solitary for me, and just playing anything in front of anybody was nerve-wracking. But I'm getting over it.
But that's kind of good. It kind of should be, in a way, I think, to a point. Like, if people aren't nervous, that's fair enough. But the fact that you were nervous, and you said it yourself that it's a personal thing, it kind of should be. It should mean something to you. It should, especially playing something like the blues. We're not just trying to mass-produce pop music. We're trying to. Erin talked about this again from the previous podcast. We're trying to access something real. We're trying to access some feelings about something.
Absolutely.
And we're trying to say that through the music.
And then to say it to strangers or other people, for me, was just quite a big step. And I got to the stage, I don't know whether you've had this with guitar, where I feel it now in a way. I feel I've got to intermediate level, and I don't normally say anything like that nice about myself playing, but I know I have, in terms of I can sit down, I can hear a song, I can tab it out, and I can play it and learn it, play it, make a video, make a few takes of video often because it goes wrong once or twice, and put that out there, and I can be really happy that I'm at sort of a medium level. But this whole thing of improv, even improv by myself, like just putting a backing track on and playing without playing somebody's known tune, that was a kind of challenge for me as well. And kindly Tomlin, I'd done some work for Tomlin School to help other beginners and other females particularly come on. So Tomlin had given me a one-to-one session with him, and he was the first person to sort of live hear me in a Zoom with him playing. He just said, right, we're going to do improv, we're not going to do anything else. I know you think that's your weak point. I'm just going to make you play 12 bars, 12 bars, 12 bars. And it was very basic and I was nervous, but I did it. You know, he was like the first person that got me to do something that was other than school and theorised stuff that I, you know, had to learn, prep. I'm good at that. Learn, prep it, play it.
Right.
But not make it up as I go along. That was freaking me out. It really was freaking me out.
There is a whole. We'll come back to that in a minute because I've got this question in my head, which is that I'm quite interested in knowing when you first started, what was like your frequency of practicing?
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah, I just became obsessed.
Take note, people.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, at least an hour a day, sometimes more. And also, I carry a harmonica with me absolutely everywhere. That's like my number one tip for people is to never not have it with you. You've always got to have one with you. So, like I said to you, I play it outside a supermarket, or if I'm waiting in a queue for something on my own. You know, if I'm sat in the car waiting for something, or if I'm out for a walk, I might sit somewhere from out birding. Bird watch, so I told you, so I might be noodling away on harmonica. I play it in the bath all the time, so I've got a harmonica by the bath. Right, information there. Yeah. I play it everywhere, so I think that builds up to almost another hour of the day sometimes.
Right, okay, so as well as your dedicated hour.
Yeah, it's my top tip for anybody, and you can't do it with the guitar, but with the harmonica.
No.
You can put it down your top and get it out anywhere.
Yeah. Can't imagine trying to get Esmeralda down my top somewhere.
Being a woman, it's in the bra strap, and it's there all the time like a weapon. I better not go into an airport or anything like that. But there's
a whole new niche market, if I ever heard it. Bras with harmonica holders in them.
Exactly. But I was thinking about guitar players can't do that. They can't be so sort of spontaneous.
It's all right at home. I can kind of pick her up like whenever I want, as well as, you know, because you're right. I mean, I've heard people talk about, and maybe not always in music, in other areas, there's a difference between, and I've heard about it in music, there's a sort of difference between training and playing.
Okay, yeah.
So for me, sometimes I'll pick her up while I'm just watching a TV.
Oh, you say her?
Yeah, she's called Esmeralda. My Purple Jackson is
that's
called.
Brilliant. My harmonicas haven't got names, but they're all he's.
Right, okay. She's definitely a she.
Brilliant.
And I'll pick her up and just go through scale patterns. Yeah. Just to get my fingers moving, and then different ways of playing the scales. So going backwards and forwards, and then moving, and then backwards, and then covering all the 12 fret pattern, and then maybe look at the pentatonic and just go through that as well, which is what we play in blues. But I acknowledge that is not playing. That's not honing an improvisational skill or a musical skill, or it's not doing my ear. That is just making sure that at least at some point during the day I've moved my fingers up and down.
Which must be really important.
Which is
like because in our breathing.
Yeah, because I don't want to have to think about it when I'm playing. I'm thinking about, or I'm supposed to be thinking about, what am I actually playing? What sound am I trying to get now?
Yeah.
You know, do I want it to go up or do I want it to go down? Where are we in the chord structure? Where do I need to be? And if I'm also having to think about getting my finger, that needs to be sorting itself out.
Yeah, fascinating.
What would be the equivalent? You just mentioned breathing. Yeah,
and technique. You know, you can play a 2-draw or 4-draw. You can really play it. You know, and you can bend it, and you can do double stops. Like I love all these techniques that we're learning, or you can do that warbling between two notes.
Right,
so
okay.
I have to do a lot of practice to get that. And one thing I'm not so good at yet is dynamics. I need to learn to play softer, and you just reminded me of that when you're saying when you're actually playing, you need to think about how you're playing. So there's a bunch of techniques like warbling and bending and that sort of thing, which I love. We're not really playing straight notes anymore. We're doing all sorts of things with them using our throat. And cavity, space in the mouth and the lungs, etc. But also the dynamics seem to be pretty important, and I kind of just tend to get on the harmonica and blast away. So I'm trying to learn to be more subtle.
Nothing wrong with that, but yes, I mean those are different things that you can add into improvising.
Yeah. And then there's notes. I mean, like the triplet notes. Three notes together. I'm not very good at explaining the bar thing, but 4 notes in a bar, and some of these triplets. One is 3. So that sort of thing. So learning that on harmonica is quite a practice as well, because your mouth needs to go often bend 4 to 5 as the 3 notes. So you need to be able to, like, I always see it visually where I'm moving in an L shape from the bend 4 up to the 4 and across to the 5, back to the bend 4, up to the 4, across to the 5, draw notes in that example. So teachers teach you amazing speedy tricks to get your speed up for fast triplets, where you're almost using the bottom of your jaw to go. You're not, when you're clunky and you think you're going do, and it's really clunky and messy steps, and you're moving your head way too much. And as you advance and practice it, you can learn just to really be out of one side of mouth or the other. It can be very quick because you've got this cyclical thing going on. You've got it down, because you're using your jaw and moving cleverly with your hand, and each side of the mouth letting air in rather than clunkily moving from one note to the other. So I think they're the equivalents that I can think of.
They sound like some of the techniques that you're going to use to then get a sound out of it, and then decide how and when you're going to use those techniques. Yeah. And you keep using the word. I mean, the very first podcast was with a harmonica player, Mark Tolfrey, who again was there Wednesday night. You'll get to know all these names. You'll get to recognise all these faces.
I need to know.
Yeah, you keep coming along to the jams. And he was using the word draw. Just remind us what the word draw.
That's taking in, so that's drawing the note in.
Right.
Because you're either drawing or you're blowing a note out. So the draw notes.
And those are 2 different notes, aren't they, as you go in or out?
That's what I found fascinating about the harmonica. I must admit that I probably saw it as a simple instrument to learn, and it's really not. I kind of thought, well, if I learn this 3 draw and 3 blow note, I've got it sussed. But then there are a whole host of other notes within the 3 draw where you start bending the note down. So I wouldn't know what the musical equivalent is, A, B, C, D, etc. I haven't learned all that yet. But I can do a straight 3 draw, breathing in, inhaling, taking the notes, and I can then bend the note down once, twice, 3 times to get a different semitone of that note. I still wouldn't know all the detail yet, but I use all those notes, and I know when they're needed, and they're really incredibly difficult to learn. But whereas I had that thing of, the harmonica's going to be easy if I learn all this in-out stuff, then there's a whole load of reed bending. You're effectively bending the reed. So I'm taking it in my stride. I'm not one to rush all this stuff.
No, I'd imagine you've got
there's a lot I don't know.
You've got a method. Why is the word escaped me?
There is
methodological.
There
way
is.
Of doing it.
There is a way of doing it. There's some people. I know I started with people who wanted to do this thing called overblows. It's sort of hard to explain. Completely complex bending of the note anyway.
Right.
And I've not even looked at that. So I'm quite happy that I'm really pacing myself. I think Jason Ritchie did a video on it last week. And
that sounds like learning to run before you can walk.
Yeah, some people wanted to do that in 6 months, be teachers within 6 months, and they've all gone by the wayside now. These people aren't playing anymore. So I'm kind of happy to take it in my stride and just. I've only learned second position. There's third position playing and all kinds of things I haven't learned.
There is a lot to be said for slow and steady, and just pace yourself.
Yeah.
And learn what you've learned before you move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I'm sure there must be equivalents in guitar.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I am by no means a shredder. I don't have very quick fingers. I'm not I'm not like a Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. I love those people Those are, well, they were absolute pioneers in the 80s of shred, like Van Halen style,
I know
like
what you mean,
absolute shred guitar. Which is great and I love, but I'm probably aiming more for a sort of B.B. King, Buddy Guy sound rather than a Steve Vai sound.
Well, it's nice that you know that.
Yeah, because, my God, I mean, have you ever heard live at the Regal?
No.
B.B. King?
No, but I will now.
After we finish doing this, we're putting that on.
Okay.
Because, my God, there is some, if you want to know what's this thing people talk about, playing with feel, put that on. If you're watching this right now and you've never heard that album, turn this off, put it on pause.
Don't turn this off.
And go and listen to one of those tracks and then come back. Or
wait.
We'll line it up to play after this.
Okay.
Who are some of your inspirations on the harmonica?
Well, it just resonates with me what he just said, 'cause I really love Snooky Pryor and I'm so into his stuff at the moment. If I could get to sound a bit like him, I'd be really happy. I put a video out today actually of me playing some Snooky stuff. Oh, you might know. I've started getting into vinyl as well. So Snooky Pryor actually plays with this guy, and I don't know whether you know him, but he's the guitarist.
Homesick James.
Yeah, and it's helped me.
But...
It's so old blues. This is like obviously a vintage somebody written over it, which I liked. But get this if you haven't got this. It's really bluesy.
Right, well, so just in case, because the song was like Homesick James and Snooky Pryor.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the album as well.
Yeah. Seems to be,
Nice.
But Snooky Pryor is like my favourite harmonica player. People say he plays quite simple stuff, a lot of repeat patterns, but I love it. But I only mention this because it's helped me get into guitar. This guy is an amazing...
Right, okay.
I don't know if it's slide guitar actually or what, but the sound of these two guys together is immense. And as a side note, it's helped me get it back into vinyl because I'm liking going to the shops and finding
nice and actually putting it on and putting
these
the
artists.
On,
yeah. I mean, why not? So him, and there's Junior Wells. I guess you know Howlin' Wolf and people like that. All Muddy Water stuff, and the bands played with him. Big Walter Horton, Little Walter, all the stuff that's played at gigs. Really, I feel really lucky because I can go to these gigs and I'm hearing it now. And I didn't know. I feel quite bad about it, but I didn't really know much about blues artists before, and it's opened a whole new world to me. Anybody on any of the Facebook groups that says now, oh, try this, Carey Bell was a recent one I got into, and it's blues harmonica. There's a bias in my blues. I'm probably talking about artists that maybe aren't in your top list, but my top list is all the blues artists. They are serious Chicago blues stuff, and that's where I want my speciality to be if I get to be that good.
The two instruments have always been synonymous with each other. You know, like going back to Robert Johnson and Willie Brown.
Oh God,
going right back to those early blues players. There was nearly always a guitar and a harmonica in some way or another.
And I like some of those really early ones. Peg Leg Sam is one, and Son House I really like. It's really old school playing and a bit of bluegrass stuff as well. I like all that a lot. So it's opened up this other fantastic world of stuff I didn't really know. Now blues is all I play. My poor husband, I'm not into the real variety of stuff that we used to listen to as much as I was. Obviously we share music and play music together, but now for me, if I'm on my own, and I'm on my own a lot, it's sort of the in the car stuff is blues all the time, all the way.
Well, like I was saying, he's wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt today. And you can trace all that stuff right back.
Yeah, it's cool. I love that.
Trace it all right back. It's not a product. So like we've said, the blues is incredibly influential. And what is it about? I mean, you said the Snooky stuff is allegedly quite simple. I mean, it's easy for somebody to say it.
Yeah, I think that. People are saying it's more of the simple player, but I think he's brilliant.
Well, even if it's simple, what I'm always aware of is he came up with that.
Yeah.
So we might think it's simple. Like I said, B.B. King stuff. He said himself he doesn't have fast fingers. He's not one of these fast players. But my God, what he plays, you're feeling every single note of it.
Like that's what counts to me as well. Yeah.
Is it so? Is there a particular thing about the Snooky stuff that you like?
It's very much. I'm learning about shuffles, medium shuffles, fast shuffles, but there's a shuffly sound. It kind of reminds me of ska music, where I think they play on the offbeat as well. But there's like this shuffly music sound And he just does that brilliantly. He bounces over that beat. That's the best description I can give.
Right.
It's very upbeat, happy kind of music. Even when he's playing something sad, it's soulful, but there's still this dun 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 that he does really well, really brilliantly, and I just love it. And I think it's helping me as a sort of beginner to intermediate to hear that he does repeat patterns, because it's reassuring to me when I hear, oh, he played that in this song, and I can hear him playing it across the 4 chord or the 5 and the 4 in this song. It's really helping me understand what notes are best to play, because he does that. There's that pattern thing he keeps coming back to. I like it. I think it's genius.
It's really interesting that you use the word understand then as well, because I think that's really something that I'm becoming more and more grateful for. I don't have an amazingly great musical ear, and I'm certainly not one of those like, oh yeah, I'll just listen to that and work it out type people. That also means that there is great value, and I totally believe in the idea of, come from your feelings, man. But I'm also like, well, yeah, but I need to understand what I'm doing so I can express that feeling.
Yeah.
If I don't understand what I'm doing, the more, or let's put it this way, the more understanding I'm getting, it's like the idea that we can only talk to each other right now because we both understand the English language.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If I'm learning to understand the language of music, and the more I learn to understand it, the more I can use it to express how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But I need to understand it first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it sounds like you're doing that with...
Yeah, with him. But I like all of the ones, people are saying Sonny Boy Williamson 1 and 2, there were 2 of them. I listen to more Little Walter, listen to more Junior Wells, and I'm James Cotton. I'm just taking it all in. I love it. I haven't really heard anything I don't like yet.
You're right in that absorbent sponge stage where you're just taking it.
And the guys on Facebook and girls, they give me tips like, oh, if you like this, Lisa, Rocket Girl, they call me, you like a bit of this, so that's helping me along as well. People are throwing musical names at me.
So you said you were creating videos. And so putting them on Facebook is one thing maybe for your friends to see or whatever, but what inspired you to then start up your own YouTube channel?
Again, it was just keeping a track record of what I was doing. Right. Tomlin was quite pleased with me how I was getting on in the school, and I think I was bringing him, he tells me I was bringing him new customers, nice. Younger people, women, different types of people. So I started the YouTube channel to keep a record of where I was in his school as an advanced beginner. Then you have an early intermediate level and then advanced intermediate level. So I kind of I thought it'd just be good practice to see a catalogue of it somewhere that wasn't on my phone.
Yeah,
so I just started
like stored somewhere else.
Yeah, and when I had put videos on the Facebook groups, because I go on about Hohner Rockets, which are a type of harmonica, people said Rocket Girl. There aren't many girls, I don't know what it's like in guitar world, but there are very, very few women in harmonica world. And I mean really, I know about 3.
Right.
And
well, you and Sarah are the only ones I've met so far.
Yeah, and there's a girl, Paula, who's like my best buddy. She's up in Manchester somewhere that we've only sort of met online, and then we met for real last year. But there really aren't many at all. So, Sarah I only met recently. And I think that's to my advantage in some ways, because there's a lot of, old guys playing blues and they're posting their videos and whatever. And I think at least when I've worked in advertising, when you're sort of scrolling through hundreds of people all of the same type, when you see somebody a little bit different, you kind of maybe they get your attention, you're going to have a look, see what they're doing. It's just that rare for there to be women players. There are women professional players that I love, Julia Dill and Rachel Plass. They're ambassadors for Hohner Harmonica, so I can look up to them as somebody a bit like me that I can see that's sort of gone really far. But I think because of that, Rocket Girl name stuck. It was given to me by all these nice, lovely people that give me all the tips and help me along. They just kept saying, Rocket Girl, do a bit more of this, or Rocket Girl, that was good. So, and it is all because of Hohner Rockets. It's not made up. It's my little collection of...
Oh wow, that is a fair collection of harmonicas.
And we have one in every key, yeah?
Yeah, right, but it's not actually...
Not the key we play in, we play in second position. Please don't ask me all about that. But I got all these harmonicas really early on because I'm like that. I had to have like all the gear even when I had no idea. And then I got colour combs because I suppose guitar people get special things, but I changed all my black combs.
Right, okay.
Blue Moon harmonicas, he does nice combs, so had to have sort of girly stuff really. Tomlin gave me the case.
Nice.
As for something, I did a video for him once when I was quite early on, so he gave me the case for them. But yeah, Rocket Girl. I've even got some for you today. One of my stickers.
Wow.
You're gonna get Rocket Girl. But my friend made me the brand. He just my little Rocket Girl brand.
Wow.
That shows. It's just a bit of fun, you know.
You're fully branded up.
I don't want to be
ready
a
to go, aren't you?
It's just like my friend got hold of the name, and he does a lot of art stuff, so he made that up for me, and it just seems to have stuck. So back to your question about the YouTube thing, it was purely on a practical, let's record how I get on, because I know I'm sticking with this stuff.
Right.
So let's record it all, and then yeah, weirdly now I'm up to 1,400 subscribers.
Nice.
I know. I don't know what to do with them really. They're wonderful, wonderful people who are just so encouraging. I'm so grateful to them. Thank you if you get to watch this. There's a lot of regular little fans in there as well that just are so lovely. But I never asked anyone to subscribe or like or anything. It's just happened sort of. It's just grown organically. And probably the name helps. That's why I talked about the brand.
Yeah,
if you have a little brand, and that's what people call you anyway, I think it does help.
I think there's that, and I think it's very clear that you're really authentic about this. You're just interested in playing the harmonica and doing that, and it's not about notoriety or fame for you. No. It's about just playing the harmonica.
I'm not telling anyone anything online. I just go on. I just put my videos on. They're not even made just for YouTube. They're made for whatever reason. You know, I've learned a tune or what have you, and I put them on there, and people respond. It's really nice. Really, really. I feel lucky about that. That seems to have taken off in some way that I'm pleased about. But then it was all about, you know, how long can I do Facebook stuff, keep learning and putting videos out there. In that one-to-one I said I had with Tomlin, I had a little moan, and it was probably about a year ago. I said, look Tomlin, it's rubbish living near Bristol, there's nobody else in the world who plays harmonica, there's no blues, there's nothing. And I really had a little rant, and he said, Lise, shut up, you're talking BS. And he never talks to me like that. He said, I want you to get off your arse and get out there. And apparently before he lived in Edinburgh he had spent a lot of time down in Bristol or Gloucestershire, and he said, I know there's a huge blues scene down there, you've got to get out off your dining room chair and find it. And that was when this little change in me started, where I found a local teacher, Cardiff, Aidan Sheehan. I don't know whether you know him. He plays about 100 instruments.
Wow,
Aidan.
No, that sounds great.
And I went to a few, well, first of all I got him here to play in front of a live person. He was my first person I played. Right, okay. Like, he brought his guitar around and I was like, ooh, it was a wreck. And then he invited me to some classes he does in Bristol and Cardiff. He's a superb teacher. I needed that local person. I could see I was kind of sick of online stuff by then.
Right.
So Aidan got me to a few classes with beginners where for once I was the best harmonica player, and that felt good. You know, when you're nervous, that feels good to be someone. When it's your turn to play, you can do all right.
You can play a few things.
So he's really helped me out, and then I got to know Liam Ward a lot better. He's on the circuit doing gigs, and Mark Cole, who you've interviewed, and it all kind of culminated in the last weekend or so when I went to the Upton Blues Festival, and Liam said, we're going to get you on stage next week, and Sarah said, we're going to get you on stage next week. You know, I was a bit down about things that, you know, that I wasn't getting that experience because I was too afraid of it, and they wanted to help me get out of it really.
Well, it certainly looked like they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And I mean, you might have seen that. There is a video where I've played live at a harmonica event. So I had got on a stage before. There's a Harmonica UK event every year. I don't know whether you have a blues guitar event equivalent.
I believe there's something going on this week.
Oh right, okay.
Not purely guitar, but like a blues event that's going on that you might want to. I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
Euro Blues.
Oh, okay.
Week.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that later on.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've been amazed at when I did get off my backside what I have found. You know, it's been wonderful. But yeah, maybe I need to know more about that.
And if you know about harmonica stuff that's going on that Lisa might want to know about, let us know. Let Lisa know.
Yeah, please, because I found out about that Upton Blues Festival and then Gloucester Blues Week as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know about those things before. I don't know why. I mean, it's my bad, I guess. The advertising seems very good for them, but people, as I've got out more and gone to see bands, people have told me more. So
there's a lot of cultures that happen that people don't know about until you start getting into them. You know, I can only begin to imagine there's some UK tiddlywinks competition, championships that happen that I wouldn't know where they are or how to get into it or whatever, but I bet it happens somewhere.
So every October there's a Harmonica UK event up in Birmingham, and last year I thought, that's it, I've got to meet some harmonica people, and there were about 100 or so people there, and it was back-to-back, wall-to-wall harmonicas all weekend. You know, they had classes for us all day. It was kind of like a boot camp, heavy going, studying in different classes in the day, and then in the night we could get on the stage, and I did a prepared song and stuff like that. So I just don't count that as a blues jam, because it was with a bunch of harmonica people who were also there for the same thing. But it felt safe and wonderful. It was a fantastic event, and I'm going this October as well, and hopefully I'll be a bit better. But as far as the Blues Fest, you know, Tomlin was right. I didn't know about any of this stuff in my area. I really was thinking I'm the only woman in the UK who plays, and there's no one else, and there's not going to be any blues jam things here at all. It's mad, isn't it?
What do you have any ideas about what it is in about women and playing either instruments or blues in general? Because you're absolutely right, it's such a male dominated area.
Yeah, it is. I think we'd have to have another 3 hours. I could give you thousands of reasons, but we'd be going way back in history to when I think in the war the army gave out harmonicas free to the Americans, obviously to men, and there was a big expansion in playing in America. I think it was Hohner that were clever enough to do that. But we'd have to go back in history and the role of women and women's opportunities. It all plays out to that. I mean, it goes back a long way, I think, and how blues has panned out. And then, you know, there are some things about blues. It's difficult to say, but I'm quite a forthright person, so I've picked up quite a few guys, and they've been good actually. The reception's been good, where they put sort of all female images on stuff about harmonica, like scantily clad females to advertise their song, really full on. And I just thought, it's so disappointing, can you not do that? And some of these guys are advertising lessons and stuff, but I've talked to them about it, and they said, yeah, I get what you mean, I won't do it again. So I've picked a few people up. So I think that as blues has developed to be blues harmonica to be predominantly male, those things have been sort of allowed or just not thought about. I'm not blaming anybody, it's understandable, but when you come into that world and you see that stuff, I see it a lot on backing tracks on YouTube as well. You go to play a backing track and there's some half-naked woman laying there. It's nothing to do with the thing. So I get it, it's just to bring men into play, but I just think things have got to change a bit. So I do call it out with people. I just had a big one actually, where there was a massive harmonica event in the United States, and I don't think it was anything intentional, but they put 3 guys, silhouettes of guys playing harmonica, and I just asked them to think about it, and because to me it looked like a male event for males. But they're coming from a place where it probably has been predominantly, you know, men. I think these images were meant to represent a band or something important anyway, but they did change it. They suddenly had silhouettes that included a female, and I just, you know, it might sound a little trivial thing to you or many people. Some people told me I was being pathetic and trivial, you know. I got a backlash, but I felt it was really important to make women feel part of it.
Well, also because how many other women are out there thinking, or you know, the difference between them seeing 3 females or 3 males or 2 males or 1 female might be the difference between them going, right, there's somebody there I can relate to. Actually, I do want to go to it now.
It was for me. I thought, I'm not going to that event. That's for boys, by boys, you know, whatever. And
because
but they listened, so credit to them.
Because that's the whole point of what they're saying in their marketing. They're saying, well, we think this is mainly a male-dominated space, so we'll make it so that males feel that they can...
I understand it.
Yeah. But if you don't open it up to the female space,
it's self-perpetuating, isn't it? So I do call that sort of thing out. So that's what I sort of see currently, but I think you'd have to go a long way back. I mean, a great example is my mother, but she's just not that old, 80. When she got married, women had to leave their job I worked for one bank. I
Yeah.
worked for one bank for a very long time, a whole career, 32 years. That bank told women to leave when they got married before I joined that bank. So probably 10 years before, I think 76 it ended. So I think women's aspirations have been different because they're expected to be, or were expected to be, more at home, having kids. I mean, and that's an interesting fact. I'm not a mother, so maybe I've had more time to indulge. I've got an awful lot of hobbies, so I've had maybe a different sort of skew on where my time goes and how I can indulge in pastimes and things like that. So I think there's a whole ton of stuff we'd have to talk about, but I just love it. I would say 99% of the guys in harmonica world, and I mean the guys in this context, men, have been welcoming, fantastic. Some of them act like lovely father figures or uncle figures, and they want to take me under their wing in the nicest kind of way and want to show me the way. I can't fault it, I really can't. It's 1% that are idiots. You know, I put videos on and some people think I'm up for a date. They think they can write what they want to me about. You know, love, sex, marriage, really I've had it all, and some threats as well. Tomlin knows about that as well, so it's been really weird in some ways, but as I said, 99% of people have been great, and I couldn't have got this far without that support. You know, look at Liam last week, he couldn't do enough on that jump first night to get me up. I didn't have to see the list. Mark and Liam took care of it. They knew it was my first time, they knew I wouldn't know what that list was. They were determined to make it happen. You came over and asked me how I was I okay? You know, people 99% are like that, aren't they? But it's weird, I don't know whether you've noticed, because you probably haven't seen a few of my videos yet, but I put a glitter thing on my videos.
Yes, I have noticed some
little filter, and I always have, I don't know, it started once, and like Rocket Girl, they were saying glitter girl, blah blah blah, in a lovely way, but 3 guys have really taken offence. Really, I mean seriously taken offence to me putting glitter on my picture. And when I look at what type of guys they are, I don't want to be rude to a lot of guys like this, but they're sort of just your typical old blues dude who's black hat, black shades on the stage and leather jacket. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
But they don't like, these type don't like me doing my thing, which is bright clothes, you know, glitter. It's just my thing. Which
is really ironic, because that was the whole point of the blues in the first place, that it's people doing their own thing.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, they've said to me and messaged me personally, if you expect to be taken seriously in the blues world, do not put glitter on your videos, you're making a fool of yourself.
I think the only thing you need to be taken seriously in any part of music is good music. Everything else is peripheral. If you've got glitter on your videos, so what?
I know, and you know, I'm the type that'll double down on it, block them all and tell them to get a life, but it's you know, it's just weird. That's just weird to me. That's somebody who's got so much bias, they can't really see that another type of person that likes different things would be in their world.
Which is an indicator, like you say, is so much bias and not an open mind. And you know, this is music.
And honestly, who needs to pick up on glitter on a video? Like, why write that?
Like that's
it's
the
kind
thing.
of really funny.
Not like the actual harmonica playing.
Tell me I'm bad at. You can honestly, people have said like
technique.
People have said like you need to go and learn that bit again or what have you, and I'm fine with it. I love it. Bring it on, all the feedback, but not the person.
The actual video,
So I think you get a bit of that, which I don't think other men would have. I had someone tell me to get a haircut. Other people saying they want to get married to me. Other people saying I'd be beautiful if I had Botox.
What the hell?
Honestly, all on Facebook. But then Facebook's kind of weird like that, isn't it? The
whole internet is
They might not even be harmonica people. Maybe they were.
No, they're probably not.
It's funny, it makes me laugh, and I'm still putting stuff out there. Nothing would put me off, really. But, you know, you asked the question, so I'm going to give you
please do.
My honest insight, really. But, we could talk for hours about it, but it's all good, you know, it's all good. I'm sure men as well get equal problems and issues in other ways with people in the same industry as them. It's just a bit different.
There's annoying men everywhere.
I don't know, there's guitar feuds or, you know, that sort of thing, or people not being so nice, but it's just, there's not much of it in harmonica world, so.
Nice, good.
And my other hobbies are similar. There's not many women in bird watching.
Right.
I also got a strong interest in moths and butterflies, and again, weird things. There aren't a lot of women in the game for whatever reason. But it's good. You know, there's definitely, as I said at the beginning, there's advantages to me, I think. all the 99% of good guys I've taught about are really interested in seeing a woman coming into the space and getting on with it. And I've got a few women I can look up to in the space as well. So it's all good. It's all good in that sense.
And you know you're becoming an inspiration to other women, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, because on Sunday actually, after I played with Peachy and the Magnetones, which I still can't believe happened, but I just went to introduce myself and he said, oh, come on, you know, you can come up and play.
Nice.
It was great. But at the end of that, a group of people were just saying really lovely things, giving me great feedback. And the man of the couple in this group said, I went in to grab my wife because she wants to start playing harmonica. And he said I had to go run to the bar and get her because she was like thrilled when I told her there was a female playing. So, you know, I'm sure it's not a massive thing. She probably would have been happy about the guys playing and whatever, but she was thrilled because she's desperate to start harmonica. So we had a chat. She said she loved it. She couldn't believe I'd got up because she was sort of watching me in the pub generally, and that was it. You know, she was really nice about it.
Brilliant. Yeah,
it's good, isn't it?
So what are your plans over the future? Are we going to see more of you on stage now?
I don't know. I really don't know. You might have to encourage me. Yes, I guess is the answer, because I want to try a bit more, and I'm interested in this Wootton.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
We were looking today, it's only about half an hour away or so, isn't it?
Easy for
yeah.
me, yeah.
So I'm looking to have a few more goes at it. But I also think there's the sort of geeky, solitary part of me that I know for the rest of my life I'll have to sit here and learn every Snooky Junior Wells song, whatever, and put it up on video forever on my own. I could do that too.
Right.
So I need to know that I can lessen the nerves, really. Because it is quite scary sat in a bar all night drinking lots of wine waiting for your turn to go up. My nerves went to level 10 and my confidence started going and then it did switch when I got up, and it was such a buzz.
Nice.
And it was nice you were there, because in the video you're like looking at me when I missed the first, because he asked me to go around twice and do 2 lots of 12 bars, yeah. And I kind of didn't know I had to do a second round. I don't know all the stage signals yet, and I'd like to learn
I
those.
miss it sometimes as well, don't worry.
But I picked it up straight away, and you went like, you were like that. You were really nice about it. So I definitely want to do it, but I'm not there yet that I could see a place where I'm going to be like Sarah, who just got up every couple of songs, and she looked so relaxed.
She's great. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's so good.
She's so good, and I just want to be. If I can get to that stage, I'll do it a lot, and I'm sure I will. Surely nerves subside for everything in the end, don't they?
Yeah. You get used to it after a while, and then. I mean, sometimes I could be a bit too relaxed. That's half the problem.
Really?
Like sometimes I've got to remember, like, oh yeah, actually, I really need to concentrate on this. Like, stop prattling around and concentrate on what you're doing.
And you do solos and things, don't you?
Yeah. Sometimes even in the right key. Because that last one, that one I played with you.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I was finishing off going, why am I going to finish on the 5th fret when I should be Oh, how much of this have I played in the wrong key then?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah, I was doing a rundown to finish off the turnaround, and was like, I was halfway through the rundown going, this is not going to end in the right place. Why have I been playing in A when I should have been playing in G? What's going on here then? No. And all this is going on while I'm watching my fingers going, oh no.
Right, that's it, we'll have to do it again then.
Stop, everyone's, no. Just like, I wonder how many people, you kind of look up and you, because I know a few people, and I look at those people and they're all like, and I'm like, yeah, they all noticed. Okay, fine, great, okay.
And is it the same for you, that whatever the song is, you can get up and play? I mean, I know in harmonica we're meant to be able to get up and improvise, but you've got much more of a structure to keep, haven't you?
A little bit, yeah. I'm quite lucky that, there's 3 chords. We're going to go around those chords. I'm going to know roughly what structure we're using with those chords, because we try and keep it to just a basic 12 bar.
I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah,
I mean, that's where I feel a bit of a fake, and I don't know how it's been in your journey, but I've really learnt whole 1 to 6 on harmonica. I don't really go up to that squeaky end of things much yet. Okay. I wouldn't say I've mastered that end of it. There's a whole load of lessons I've got to do to master the top end. It's very different. But I feel like I've mastered 1 to 6, and not mastered, but I've got it. I know second position, which is we play a C if you're in G and stuff like that.
Okay, right.
Like it's that way around, yes. And there's third position, fourth position. I don't know any of those things yet. Don't know the top end yet.
Yeah.
Only know blues. Only know a straight 12 bar. There's one with a jump in the first.
A quick change in the first four. Yeah, that's easy though. You're just going to the 4 chord and then back to the first chord again. That's so it's still the same. It's still the same.
I think I know what it is.
Still one of the same 3 chords. So don't worry. Yeah.
You know, when some of these nice people, you know, like you said, some women have said. I had one last month wrote to me saying you're inspiring me. I'm in Tomlin School, etc. I just think inside, or when people say nice things on the tune, I just posted, oh really, do they only know I only know second position, I'm only playing holes 1 to 6, I don't know the high end yet, I don't know all these other positions yet, and I kind of feel a bit of a fake.
We only know 5 notes, don't worry.
Really?
We're only playing a pentatonic scale, which is 5 notes, and that's just repeats. Up and down the strings and up and down the fretboard.
But what's the masterly bit that you're not doing yet then? Is it that stuff you talked about?
My next thing is learning to move from, and I'm trying it out, but I'm not trying it at jams just yet, learning to move from major scales to minor scales at the right time if the song permits it.
Oh yeah, I've got it in minor tunes, I don't know that yet.
If the song's in major, then I can use the major pentatonic over the first chord, then move to the minor over the 4 chord, and then back to the major when we come back to the first chord, and then the minor for the turnaround. And the more I'm doing that, the more I'm hearing how that's applicable. Clapton, well, apparently Clapton's a big user of that.
Okay, yeah. So that's good. You've still got stuff ahead of you.
Loads of stuff. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about with that, like learning about music theory.
Yeah. Some
of it was easier than I thought it was going to be. And some of it's just opened up the doors to like so much more that I've gone, oh my god, this is, you know, I've learnt a tiny little bit, and part of that tiny little bit is how much more there is to learn.
Yes, it's exactly where I am. That's exactly what I'm trying to explain about only knowing the straight 12 bar, the second position, the lower. There's so much more in front of me to do.
But so much can be done with that.
Yes,
you know, exactly right. These original blues players weren't master musicians. They were and they weren't in a way. They were good with their ear. They knew how to make it sound the way they wanted it to sound, and that doesn't require you know, like I say, there's 2 notes missing out of the scale that we use.
Yeah, okay.
There is a blue note you can add in.
Yes.
But there's a time and a place to add that one in. It doesn't work all the way throughout the song, for example.
That's
Yeah. So it's and again, I know it's the 3rd time I've referenced this, but this was talked about with Erin. Blues is both simple and complex.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So what you're claiming as the little that you know sounds like the sort of stuff I know, like the basics.
Yes.
But you can still get a huge amount out of those basics.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of the complicated stuff overcomplicates it, and you lose some of that authentic blues sound. You know, you lose some of that. I'm just here to express a feeling. I'm not here to show off.
I think it's spot on. I really love that. The way you've explained it is brilliant. You've obviously explained it to a lot more people than I have. But
I've explained it to myself. You know, that's the thing. I think that's probably where we can relate to each other quite a bit. Like, you know, just trying to learn this stuff and actually make it something that we understand.
So I want to do all that about try the jam fest and things and open mics until I'm calm at doing it. I do want to do that, but I know I'd be happy just staying here and doing every blues tune in the world before I die. And I've just got this, I always say to people, I've got this massive restless curiosity for it. I tell people that's what they've got to have, I think, to play harmonica. I look at it like this magical little tin instrument, a bit like a Rubik's Cube. I feel like I've got to solve it. I look at it like that. And like we were just talking about, I've only done this little bit of this little bit of this, and there's so much more to do. So I just know that that's restless curiosity is not going to go away. If I don't play it for a day, I get itchy,
And I hear what you're saying. Dare I say, a Rubik's Cube can be solved.
Yeah, it's probably.
But the beauty of music is that it can't be solved. Yeah. There's always more. There's always like, okay, well, if I play it like that, what about if I played it like this? What about instead of going down the neck, I went deep in, like down into the sound, and then came back. How does that sound?
Yeah.
What does that do to it? And, I love that.
I love that. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? And it's not going to go away, I think. It's never going to go away. And then the final thing is I'd like to inspire other people, but particularly women, because we need more. So I'd like to be part of that, really. If I can have an effect on that at all, I'd be really, really happy.
Nice, Lisa, it's been a real pleasure talking with you today. Thank you.
Has been. I didn't think we talked for more than 5 minutes. I didn't think I had anything to say.
I think you've got a lot to say, and I think if you keep going the way you're going, I'm very honoured. Am I the first person to have interviewed you so far?
Tomlin did when I was a beginner, but that because I was a person in his school, and he wanted to interview someone in his school that was getting on quite well in the school. So, otherwise, yes, you are, absolutely, you are.
Wow,
and we only met a week ago.
I'm very honoured and flattered, thank you.
I'm honoured, thank you. When you asked me, I said I don't know why you're asking me, but...
I think you've got a great story.
Yeah,
I think this is a great story, and like you said, and like I would say about myself, we're at the beginning of it. We're by no means masters, very far from it, but right into it. And I think you really said something earlier on about there's people who wanted to be really, really good, and where are they now? Some of them have disappeared off the wayside. Because you've got to. Sometimes it's sort of slow and steady. Sometimes it's about learning what you need to learn it some more, and then keep learning it, and then move on.
Exactly. Thank you so much for giving me the time anyway.
Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. Lisa, say goodbye to everyone.
Bye everybody, thank you for listening.
And where can they find you?
I'm Rocket Girl Lisa on YouTube, so have a look there if you don't mind. Be grateful.
And Instagram as well?
No.
Not yet?
No, I'm old school.
Old school.
What's Instagram?
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Cheers. Okay, as always, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It was very insightful to hear from Lisa, and also a great reminder that the Blues Jam podcast is here for everybody. So it's not just about professional musicians, it's about people at the very start of their journey, as well as people well into their journey. I'm at the start of my journey. I'm by no means a professional musician, very far from it. In fact, there's a lot for me to learn, and as Lisa said, there's a lot for her to learn, and it would be great to keep an eye on her progress and to see her develop over however long it may be. And she played exceptionally well at the Gloucester Rhythm and Blues Festival Jam that happened. It was great to see. So, as always, some notices of Blues Jams coming up over the next couple of weeks or so. We will start with the 5 regulars that happen every week. So we've got the Colin Staples Blues Jam at the Navigation Inn, Castle Lock, Nottingham, 9 p.m. Every Wednesday. We got the Great British Blues Jam at the Temple of Arts and Music in London at 42 Newington Causeway. That's SE1 6DR every Saturday from 3:30 onwards in the afternoon. We got the Blue Lamp in Aberdeen. That's at 121 Gallowgate. That's AB251BU is the postcode. That's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Then we have the 2 Backdoor Blues Jams as put on by Damien. One at the Orchard Inn, Hanover Place, Harbourside, Bristol. BS1 6XT is the postcode for that. It's 8:30 in the evening till 11 closing time every Monday evening. And then the other Backdoor Jam is at the Queen of Cups, 10 to 12 Northlode Street, Glastonbury, BA6 9JJ. That's every Sunday, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Now, coming up over the next couple of weeks, we got the Crediton Blues Jam in Crediton in Devon, the Red Deer. That's every second Sunday. So according to my calculations, at 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. That should be on the 10th of August coming up. We got the Magic Garden at 231 Battersea Park Road, London, SW11 4LG. That's the second Thursday of each month at 8 p.m. So again, according to my calculations, that should be the 8th of August. And we have the Blues Jam 105 to 111 Queensway, Bletchley, Milton Keynes, MK2 2DN. On Wednesday the 7th of August, 7:30 p.m. And we close off with the Red House Blues Jam in Stourbridge on the first Wednesday of each month. So that's coming up. That's this evening. if you're listening to this on release date. If you're anywhere near Stourbridge and you're listening to this straight away at 7 p.m, you've got time because it starts at 9 p.m. But just so you know, for next month, everyone, the Red House Blues Jam, Stourbridge, first Wednesday of the month, 9 p.m. Brilliant. As always, do keep an eye on these blues jams. Maybe check them out yourself so you know for certain they're happening. If you know of other ones that are happening that I'm not mentioning, please do let me know. And if you're enjoying what you're hearing or watching on this Blues Jam podcast, then please make sure you follow or subscribe. The buttons should be somewhere available on the home screen of wherever you've tuned into this, or they should be around the screen of where you're watching right now if you're watching. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.